We recently had the Husky Svart 401 and I absolutely love that bike. The rugged good looks and the ergonomics suit me well. In fact, I do want to get one. And then I saw this, the Vitpilen, up close and in the metal. And it's even more good looking. But let's find out if I'll change my mind on which I prefer in this episode of Beyond the Ride. Husqvarna is a brand that is known for many things and has been pioneering since 1903. They started with bicycles, then motorcycles, then lawnmowers and chainsaws. The Husky logo depicts a gun barrel and sight, and since the brand's introduction and local production establishment, clearly they're aiming for some very key rivals in the category with this 2021 Vitpilen 401. The brand has passed through many hands, some of which are some of the most influential in the industry: MV Agusta, BMW, and finally KTM. Vitpilen means silver arrow in Swedish and was first showcased in 2014 alongside the Svartpilen. And 7 years later, both are still as gorgeous as ever. The bike is powered by a 373cc single-cylinder fuel-injected 4-stroke double overhead cam engine that punches out 44 horsepower and 37 Nm of torque, mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox. Stopping power is provided by hydraulic bi-brake disc brakes, 320mm up front and 230mm at the back, both with ABS. Keeping bumps at bay, a 43mm inverted telescopic fork up front and a link-type monoshock at the back. It's got 17-inch cast wheels, and we took a little bit of an issue with the Svart's cast set, but for the Vit, it seems a little bit more appropriate. The tires are Metzeler Sportec Street M5, and the size? It's 110/70 up front and 150/60 at the rear. The bike's weight is 145 kilograms, which is really light, and it is pretty tiny, especially by the tank, which makes it really agile. The clip-ons make the bike a little bit difficult to maneuver at low-speed situations because you are hunched over. It may take a little bit of time to get used to. The engine is the same as the KTM 390 Duke, RC 390, and Adventure 390, but it is a revised version, which is smoother than its KTM counterparts. The Svart and the Vit were designed by Maxime Tuvna, a Frenchman who rose in the ranks of the design studio Kiska. If Kiska sounds familiar, it's because it's the same studio that designed KTM's Dukes and even the NKs of CF Moto. Minimalism is the name of the game, and simplicity is simply beautiful. The Svartpilen looks a little bit more rugged and daring, but the Vit is just so classy. It still looks futuristic, but it still has a bit of a classic vibe to it. However, if you were to ask me, it looks like a future classic, stepping towards becoming iconic. Now you can go to the dealership and get rid of these side mirrors that I don't love. There you can opt for a bar end side mirror as an option to make the Vit look a lot sleeker. And yes, I did say mirror, singular, because nothing screams cafe racer more than having just one side mirror. However, nothing screams rolling violation more than having just one side mirror. The trellis frame is identical to that of the Duke, while the suspension is the same as the RC. Now usually I don't like it when brands put their logos everywhere, but on this, it's actually quite nice because it's kind of subtle. The Husky logo is right here, on the seat, the tank, the dash, the clip-ons, the grips, the wheels, the exhaust, and even right here. And we all know that's a KTM engine. The tank capacity and fuel economy of the Vit is identical with that of the Svart, 9.5 liters and 28 kilometers per liter. But I think that's actually okay for this bike. Because of its cafe racer ergonomics, I don't think I'll be riding it very far, so I think it's just right. The dash, not very inspiring. Sure, it gives you all the necessary information and you can change modes from road to supermoto, which really just means you turn off the rear ABS. Now, I wish they did something else with it. I mean, if they went full TFT, it would have been too expensive. They wanted to keep the price low. But if they went analog, I would actually have preferred that. The switchgear is backlit, so at night these little things light up, which is, well, you can't see it now, but if I go like this, there you go, it's lit up. Kind of cool. The seat height is 835 millimeters. The ground clearance is 170 millimeters. I am 5'6", for your reference. And just like the Svart, I am on my tippy toes slightly. Now, because of the inseam and it's quite narrow up front, it's not so bad, even though the figures seem it's kind of high. The ergonomics is where things get really different between the Vit and the Svart. The Svart, the handlebars are somewhere around here. The foot pegs are probably closer to this, where the brakes are. While the Vit, with the clip-ons, are all the way down here. The foot pegs are a little bit more rear set. And it's an absolute cafe racer. Now, if you look at this, the line between the handlebars to the back of the bike, it's pretty much flat. The Svart would have gone like this and go higher where the front of the bike is. Now, in this position, I don't know if I can use this bike on a daily. I really don't.
Okay, cut.
Aray ko, shit. Before we head on out, let's do a quick sound test. Yeah, just like the Svart, nothing great. I would definitely put an aftermarket exhaust on that thing. Huskies did dabble with other road bikes in the 50s and 60s with the Silver Arrow and the Vitpilen, but they are primarily known for dirt bikes and off-road machines until now. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the commuting with the Vitpilen is kind of challenging. The clip-on bars put a lot of strain on your wrists and also your back. It does have neck-breaking looks. People stare at it whenever you reach a stoplight. It's an absolute tiis ganda or tiis pogi type of bike. It's not just a neck breaker, but also a back breaker. So you better be good friends with your chiropractor, or you can just buy a TheraPro. Now, the KTM 390s are notorious for getting hot in city traffic. But this bike and the Svart, they have a revised engine. Yes, it's the same engine, but it is revised, so it doesn't get as hot. Now, you can take this bike on the highway. It says 400cc right here. But I don't recommend it for long rides, unless you want to assume the classic cafe racer stance. One hand on the bar, leg cocked out and off the side to help with your back pain. Okay, enough of this riding around the city. Let's go to where this white arrow will have loads of fun. Off to Marilake. The Vit feels very light and flickable. The handlebars force you into a very playful-like stance. And the bike is really nice and agile. It's perfect for the twisties. It responds well and wants to lean into the corners and change direction at a moment's notice. Now, we got a little bit too excited and had a little bit of too much fun and ended up scraping the belly pan. And no, it wasn't me. That was Jack and Earl. The bike begs to be taken up mountain roads and to turn corners like there is no tomorrow. It's got a very, very smooth power delivery and doesn't feel like a thumpy single. What I would do for a quick shifter on this thing. Unfortunately, the units here don't come with one as standard. The RC is a can of energy drink. It's in your face and charged with flavor. The Vit, it's black coffee, bitter and pure. And for those who know what they want. You are perched on top of the bike, kind of like the RC, but there's no fairings to hide behind. No fairings to announce that you are on a super sport. The Vit feels like a super sport and performs like a super sport, but it doesn't look like it is. People will just get shocked that a cafe racer like this bike has such amazing performance. Honestly, I'm having a little bit too much fun with the twisties here in Marilake on this bike. I've been gone for about 2 hours and Jack and Earl have been waiting for me. Maybe I should turn back, or maybe I should go further. Now for the verdict. Which of the 401s would I rather have? Well, I love them both. But if I were to have one bike, it would be the Svart. It's more comfortable, it's more practical, I can use a bike on a daily. But the Vitpilen is more fun. So if I were to have a kind of an expensive toy, I would choose this. And it can be yours for a price tag of 315,000 Philippine pesos. Now, in a perfect world, I'd have both. Or maybe just one. For more information about this bike and other MCs out there, log on to www.motodeal.com.ph. This has been Jinno Rufino. Hope you guys enjoyed going beyond the ride.